We're still in our feels. The Eurovision depression is still in full swing. But now that Doug and I are officially back on the other side of the pond, it is time to come back together and do the first ever Eurovision Kiki Awards. And so welcome to this week's episode of the Eurovision Kiki podcast. I am Steven.
And I'm Doug.
And if you are new to the Eurovision Kiki podcast, welcome. Love having you here. We're just a couple of guys from the other side of the pond who love all things Eurovision. You can catch our content here on YouTube, or if you're catching us on Spotify, you can catch us there too. We also do additional content on Instagram and on TikTok. Just search at Eurovision Kiki. But this week we have decided to reflect back on what we've experienced over there in Vienna at the live shows, as well as thinking about everything that led up to 2026 Eurovision Song Contest season, and do the first ever Eurovision Kiki Awards. And we've got some fun categories that we have developed and created for this episode. And so, Doug, where do you want to start this week?
I would like to get us started with my favorite, the Avant-Garde Award. This is an award for somebody who's a little bit ahead of their time, who maybe the audience didn't quite appreciate everything that they were giving us, but the true artists can understand.
I think it's safe to say, though, they had at least one fan from this show.
That is accurate. So the Avant-Garde Award goes to Lithuania.
Shocker. Woo!
I was probably one of, 6 flags in the entire arena during their performance. It's fine. I saw what was there, and I do feel the performance was a little bit avant-garde, that people are going to be watching this going, I like the song, but what is happening here?
I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of change up from their national performance to what we saw at the Eurovision stage. And so we sort of knew going into it what to expect. And it was, yes, that very avant-garde, solo quiero más feel that we knew it was going to be. And I, again, appreciated Lithuania for bringing something unique and different to this stage this year. Wasn't my cup of tea. I was very surprised that they qualified to the grand final. And that's just based off of kind of my own personal some of those notes at the semifinal didn't quite hit the way I thought they were going to hit. But I think given their staging, given what they were trying to go for, I think that's what sold a lot of public and jury votes. And so I think that's what helped them go into the grand final.
Yeah, I thought that they were going to make it through based specifically on the jury, but we take a look at the breakdown, and it was kind of an even across the board. 55 points from the public, 46 points from the jury. Hey, everybody sort of was just like, yeah, I'm on board with this. Let's get it to the finals. We knew that they probably weren't going to be top 10 or anything, but I appreciated the fact that they were able to advance.
Yep. Well, congratulations to Lithuania for our Avant-Garde Award here at the Eurovision Kiki podcast. I think we can move on to the next category, which is Best Live Version of their song. And we have 2 nominees, and these are performers that we didn't really have strong feelings toward at the beginning during National Song Contest season and during artist selection, and they helped persuade us otherwise. And so the first nominee is going to go to Czechia. We, as an audio version, found ourselves saying, yes, lovely vocals, lovely recording, this, that, and the other, but where are we going with this? And then we find ourselves listening to him perform his song live, and it's 10 out of 10. Where are you could tell me that this was the audio version, and I would have believed you. Like, it was so good.
So good, if not
So
better.
good. Yeah. So
I really felt the emotion in the song in the live version. I'll be honest, the actual audio of it does nothing for me. But hearing him sing it live there, goosebumps. So all of a sudden I'm rooting for Czechia to advance, when if you had asked me before the contest, I would have been like, no, why?
I agree. I was just they were not on the radar as a qualifier until
they were.
Until they were. And then our second nominee is a country that, again, if you have watched past episodes and if you've read the comments on our previous YouTube episodes, the people of Poland have come for us on this one. So here we are to nominate Poland as another artist for best live version of their song, because Mama came and Mama left no crumbs on the floor. Like, vocals were like, she knew what the assignment was and she delivered. And no notes.
I always had them advancing. So I thought that they would advance to the finals. So to see her get up there on stage and just belt out that song, fantastic. Better than her audio version. If that's not the definition of performance, I don't know what is.
Totally persuaded and changed my entire perception of
Absolutely.
her song.
It was in that moment that I said, not only had she better advance, but she's gonna run for the top 10. So,
and there you have. So, Doug, who is our winner in this category?
I think it needs to be Poland.
I am 100% in agreement with you. Like, the winner right here, hands down. Poland, you get best live version of your song, girlfriend. I have props to you.
For sure. So the next category is going to be the Colleen Award. And let me explain for those who may not know, there was some technical glitches during Colleen's performance of We Will Rave back in 2024. And I believe that impacted their overall score. Yes, the juries may have already scored, but it was the voting public who saw a performance that wasn't what was up to her standards, but it was out of her control. So this year's Colleen Award, sadly, goes to Czechia and Croatia. We're in the middle of the performance, and then all of a sudden I see lines across. Now, we weren't watching from home for the second semifinal, so for all I knew, that was the direction that they were going. They were going for maybe like a 1990s, 1980s TV vibe of, something going wrong. Nope, turns out that was a problem. And then all of a sudden it freezes and you get that like couple of second delay. You can still hear him, but visually you're kind of pulled out of it because you know that there's something going wrong.
Yeah. And there have been, in follow-up, there have been a lot of other bloggers and a lot of other content creators that have been having mass discussions about this particular snafu in the technical glitch, in saying that there should have been a redo given to Czechia to redo the performance from like a public perspective, so that there was that. And you can argue yes or no on this one, because to your point, as we're giving him our Colleen Award, where was Colleen's redo in 2024? Like, there's that.
Yeah, I mean, you have to ask yourself, did that truly impact? And there's literally no way of knowing unless we have like an alternate timeline and we can see a crystal ball. There's no way to know Would he have gotten more points or not? I think that stopping, redoing, possibly could have caused more disruption to the flow and even potentially to Czechia by, folks going, come on, it was 5 seconds. Like, why are you getting a redo and then losing votes? Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to say.
And alternatively, he's leaned into it as well. We've seen other content creators working with him, just briefly kind of joking it off a little bit by having some subtle interviews with them and having freeze ups occur while they're interviewing. So, he's not overly upset about right. what has happened and what has transpired at his grand final performance. But it's hard to say whether or not this did or did not fully impact his overall standing when it came to final jury and public points. And I can't necessarily say jury because their jury night was the night prior. So
the night before. Either way, unfortunately, he gets the clean award because things outside of his control.
But congratulations, question mark? Over here at the Eurovision Kiki.
So the next one that maybe we want to jump to is another sort of fun made up one. I call it the Snappability Award. For those of you who don't know, Rosalind and the song Snap sort of took on a life of its own after the Eurovision Song Contest. It was not a winning song. It wasn't even a song in the top 5, I believe. So it was a song that then picked up steam and it's got some of the most streams of any song in the Eurovision Song Contest. So in this award, I want us to think of a song that has the ability, that wasn't a winner. So sorry, Bulgaria, you're out of the running because that would be the easy answer.
It is, because side note, they're currently being their global Spotify playlist right now. They're also being noted as, hey, world, this is put this on as your summer anthem for 2026. So Bangaranga is getting their moment, which we're living for.
Yes. So
let's go there.
Knowing that Bangaranga is not in the running for this award, what is another song that you think has the ability to really take on a life of its own after the contest?
The one and only, my girl from Cyprus, Antigone with Jala.
Jala. I think that's the answer. I believe that this award should go to Cyprus and Jala because, one, it's fun, it's upbeat. 2, it's light and fresh, makes you think summer. We're heading into the summer season. Eurovision's now over, so just thinking about all the possibilities of, sort of radio-friendly re-listenability. That's not a word.
Not a word, but let's go with it, because and to go with, doesn't matter how messy her semifinal performance was, you're still having fun with it. That's the and she's still qualified. You're still having fun. You're dancing on the table,
Yeah, she qualified to the finals. She asked, do you want more? And the audience said, yes, we would like to see you in the finals.
We did say yes. Myself included. My votes, I was like, this is messy, but I'm still voting.
But I do think that song has the potential to catch on, to become an earworm, to maybe advance on the charts. Obviously, the next couple of months will be telling. Who's to say?
So at this point, we're going to @World Vashon and tell him that we need we had a We Will Rave Day. We had a Hallucination Day. So I'm calling it right now, Sean. We need a Jala Day this summer. Let's make it happen.
You heard it here first.
All right. The next category that we have is the most robbed by the juries and or the televotes. And I think initially we had one winner that we were going to give this to, and then right before we jumped on, we had a little conversation, and I was like, well, I think we actually have two nominees here, and for various different reasons. So our first nominee goes to Switzerland, who by both jury and by public received ninth place, but the math just didn't math for them. And overall, they landed themselves in the dreaded 11th place spot that is always just like that justice for 11th place. So, Doug, tell us more.
I don't know more. I don't understand it. The math just ain't mathin'. Objectively, the most robbed. Like, you can tell me that your favorite didn't advance. You could say that, all kinds of things, because we know folks had favorites in Luxembourg, Latvia, Armenia, Montenegro, Portugal. People had those as their favorites, and that's fine. And you can say that they were robbed all you want. But just objectively, logically, logistically, all those things, Switzerland somehow didn't advance, and I still don't get it. I don't know. They were ninth by both the jury and the public, but when you add those together, they ended up at 11th. I don't think it will ever make sense. I look at the points here on my other screen, and yeah, the totals add up. I get that. But why?
Well, and it's, certain countries, because they received more public vote and you calculate public plus juries, it just puts them at a higher ranking than what Switzerland was given, and it skews everything over. And so, yes, to what you said, objectively, Veronica was robbed this year, and sadly, we were not graced with seeing her perform Alice in the grand final. And so with that, with that, our second nominee is a little less objective, but it goes kind of in the basket of, we're just going to say it's Montenegro, because for the first time in a very long time, the public really, really loved what Montenegro brought to Eurovision. And from a points system, if we had taken the juries out this year, as it has been in the past couple of years, Montenegro would have qualified to the grand final. But because the jury points and the juries just they were not picking up what she was throwing down. And so she did not receive as high of points from jury, which gave her an overall 13th place finish in her first semifinal. So because of that, she was a non-qualify. So from that perspective, we're finding ourselves feeling as though Montenegro was robbed by the jury on this one.
I would almost say Montenegro is just robbed by Eurovision at this point, because every time Montenegro tries to figure out what is needed for Eurovision then says, no, we're actually switching.
We're changing things up this year. And for those who have listened for a while, you should know, like, from the get-go, when Montesong happened, I'm like, this has to qualify. Like, this is the song. Like, is it a winner? No. Like, they are not going to bring home the win this year. But like, right, this song is great. I love it. Hypes me up. Like, I thank God there's not video of me at the show at the live semifinal, like belting out lyrics that I can't even like belt out, nor really speak because I don't speak Montenegrin. But like, I was just so, I felt the pain that she was feeling when she did not qualify.
And I mean, I would not be surprised if Montenegro as a whole is just going, what are we even doing? They pivoted. I do think that they said, we need a song that has more public appeal, and they went in that direction just for it to not advance. Now, I mean, you can look at even the public vote. Yes, they were not in the top 5 of a public vote or anything, but still, it just kind of goes to show that no matter what Montenegro does,
Eurovision
it's not working. Yeah, Eurovision has a different plan.
And it's not that it's not working. It's just that Eurovision has other plans for them.
So what's going to happen is that they're going to find a song that is very jury friendly, and then they're going to remove juries from the semifinal.
Oh yeah,
you know, 100%.
It's just they're gonna flip the script on them yet again, and it's gonna be like this song has like the elements that juries are for, maybe not necessarily like public loved, or it's somewhere in the middle where it could go either way. But then Eurovision's gonna change the rules yet again.
Why not? You know, Montenegro's onto something. No, we need to change the rules.
All right, Doug. So who's our winner in this category?
I mean, I think this comes down to a personal choice for the Kiki, and so we have to give, unfortunately, this is not an award you want to give, but I think the most robbed for us at the Kiki is Montenegro.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, we could essentially give it to both of them because in their own right way, they were both robbed for many factors. Like Switzerland got, screwed over by both jury and televote in their semifinal, and because of how math works.
Because of how math works.
And Montenegro got screwed over because of the fact that, one side of, Eurovision community were here for it, and then the juries were just kind of like, meh.
So if you're from Switzerland, basically the biggest villain is math.
You heard it here. Like, yeah.
The villain of this story is just math. Okay.
And for both of them, honestly. So
anyways,
what's the next category we've got going on?
The next one I'm going to talk about is Lost in the Shuffle. So these are songs that, for whatever reason, we just weren't talking about. And when I say we, I mean, yes, us at the Kiki, we didn't talk about them, but I don't know that I heard a lot of buzz about these songs, because a lot, on social media, content creators, you're going to hear a lot about what they do like, and you're going to hear a lot about what they don't like. But there's going to be a good amount in the middle there of just songs that are advancing to the finals. They're probably going to do medium well, but at the end of it, no one was talking about them. And so I have 2 nominations for Lost in the Shuffle. The first one goes to Croatia. I like Andromeda. I appreciated the live performance. I think they brought the drama. I think the staging brought the fog. There was nothing wrong with it. But I also don't really remember folks talking about Croatia a whole lot.
I mean, leading up to it, yeah, I think even us collectively here, we talked about it somewhat, but we really just kind of on a surface level.
Really, yeah. It wasn't vaguely. It wasn't a top song. It wasn't a bottom song. It just sort of was coasting in the middle.
Yeah. So and I'm pleased to see how well they did, because
for sure.
As Doug, I love my like kind of witchy, cultish jams and jellies. And yes, I know that like that's not essentially what they are, but that aesthetic. Like,
it's like
with Bambi Thug, like we've seen with Tautu Mitis and things like that. I love those type of aesthetics that kind of put me in a different feel or vibe, and that's what they were giving me. But again, they did kind of get lost in the shuffle this year. So it was pleasing to see that they did qualify, and then their performances just sort of happened.
And so the other nominee for Lost in the Shuffle, I'm afraid it has to be Albania. Again, a beautiful song where I think that the staging was greatly elevated. It was there. I don't recall a whole lot of buzz or chatter even going into the contest. I just think it was one we knew was going to advance. And then, hey, we'll see what happens after that, you know?
Yeah. And this one, I would actually, I mean, yes and no on Albania being part of this category, but I think it's also because I'm thinking about it from like an internal and personal stance. Like when we were there, and I got very emotional in toward the tail end of their performance every single time, both second semifinal and grand final. And again, to your point, like the subtitles help, and that's like the ignorant, like North American person in me. And how he used the stage and the production element of it with his, you know, the imaging of his mother being on stage with him and all of these things, it really just kind of like hit my core and put me in some very, very emotional feels, if you will. And so I was like, did this get lost in the shuffle? I don't know. Like, yes, I very much knew that they would qualify.
Right.
But then you get to that climactic moment and I'm like, we're somewhere now. But I can see why you've placed it in this category from like your nomination perspective.
So I think when it comes down to it, as an award from the Kiki, the winner of Lost in the Shuffle, I think it's going to go to Croatia.
Yes.
It makes the most.
It makes the most sense for sure. And we do love us some Andromeda at the same time.
I do. And I want that to be clear. Like,
yes,
this has nothing to do with the song being good or bad. It's that there was just a lot of chatter going on with other songs. So that I don't think we heard enough from Croatia.
I look forward to seeing what they do next year.
Yes. I mean, I'm always interested. I want Croatia to win, let's be real. I'm waiting for that Croatia win because then I will be getting Ryan on a plane to the beach. That'll be a great vacation. So Croatia, I need you to win. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so with that, what do we have next, Stephen?
All right. So next we have best staging or use of the stage. And we have a few nominations here because while there are many, 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 many countries that really brought their game and really used the stage to its fullness and to its great potential, we really narrowed it down to just 3 countries. So first country that we have is Poland. And this also kind of ties back to what was seen during their national performance to then an elevated staging component at Eurovision. Doug, where do we go? Where do we go with this one?
You know, she starts this performance by herself, giving us just every correct note in the book. And then we transition that to her backup dancers, the tilted stage, and the use of that tilted stage. I was blown away. It was not a performance that I saw coming. I don't know how else to best describe it other than to say they used that elevated tilted platform to its full degree.
And for the dancers to be able, and herself, to be able to balance themselves at such an angle, chef's kiss.
Yeah, it was fantastic staging. It was also a good use of the stage. You know, we had the main, square rectangle of a stage, but then it would go out, and then there was a semicircle, and then you could go out even farther where it connects to get to the green room. And I think a lot of acts just stayed in that main triangle. And so I appreciated when artists would use more of the stage. And so that's one thing that I think Poland did, was that, she started farther out, and then she was able to come back, join the dancers on the tilted stage. So that was a good use of the stage as a whole.
Yeah. All right.
And I think that ties into, I think, our next nomination.
Yep.
For me, my next nomination is from France, because she did similarly. Like, she was using the sort of the runway of the stage, and not just staying in her little rectangle. I think she gave a commanding performance. Yes, she had her dancers there, but I'll be honest, I wasn't paying attention much to the backup dancers, because all eyes were on her.
All eyes are on her. Yep.
She 17 years old, and she is up there just like, you're focused on me. You're not looking anywhere else. I own this stage. And she did.
With opera, which you loved this year, right?
I'm gonna be objective here and say, going into the contest, was France my favorite? Absolutely not. The way that she delivered that song, the way she delivered the performance, the staging of it, I became a believer that night.
There you go. There you have it.
So now we will never see a performance like that again. And I say that because she is 17 and they are raising the age limit. So I guess if we're no longer having minors in the competition, then that was the way to go out. So good job, France.
Bippity boppity boo, right there.
Right. And who was our third nomination?
Third and last nomination is going to our actual winner of Eurovision, not this category necessarily, and that's Bulgaria. And I mean, where do we even begin with this one? Where does that go?
I don't know that there's much else to say that we haven't already said. If you've seen our clips on TikTok or on Instagram, we've talked about it. The staging was impeccable. I have nothing else to say about it other than I truly believe that everything had to come together for Bangaranga to win. And one of those elements is the staging. And we got some comments and people were like, it's too much like a music video. You mean because it was well done and well executed and high production value, and you're upset about that? I don't know what to do with that. So if it felt like a music video, it's because it was that well done. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, we can't. Let's shit on it because it's too good. Like, what? Like, no.
I don't understand what you're trying to do here. So yeah, did it feel like a music video? Sure, but we have seen over the years that the contest is for TV, and so were we having trouble seeing every bit of the performance live? Sure.
Well, yeah,
but it's not made. But it's not made for us.
Yeah.
So they've done everything that other countries have done to make it very TV focused. Anyway, long story short, I think the award for best staging has to go to Bulgaria. I'm sorry, it just has to. It's just that well done. So, Eurovision Kiki Award for best staging, Bulgaria.
There you go. Congrats to you, mama. Speaking of staging, let's talk about the next category, which is the least life audience friendly from a staging perspective. We could
probably throw a nomination to Bulgaria in that regard, just because it was a little difficult as it was rotating around. But I digress.
But, well, okay, so yes, we'll throw Bulgaria into this category as well. And again, you as a television viewer may not see this, but we as live audience members see this. So again, there are angles at which like you don't see what's happening or like what they're doing on stage. You sometimes have to rely on monitors that are within the arena, but guess what? Those monitors aren't on all the time because they have to black them out because of where cameras are, zooming in on or zooming out of. So again, you don't always get to see everything until you actually get home and watch the performance.
You're like,
so
I had no idea that was happening.
Yeah. You're like, we're going where? We're doing what now? And so we'll throw Bulgaria into this category sort of last minute, but
I do have another last minute. I do have another last minute addition. I'll throw Greece into there because once he goes back and he's like going through the doors, we had no idea what was happening because first he talks to like the grandmother and then he talks to the statue and then he talks to like the gold guy. Like we didn't know any of that. We couldn't see it.
We could see him talking to either mom or grandma. And then as soon as from where we were standing.
Right.
And then as soon as he opened the next door to talk to the statue, couldn't see that from our angle. Right. So again,
like, what's going on?
And then the next door, the gold room, couldn't see that from where we were standing. So, and again, from where everybody is positioned within the arena. So we'll throw Greece in there. And then who is our third nominee?
Our third and winning nominee is Czechia. As cool as that staging was from a home viewer, like, that was fantastic. But
we're staring at a box.
We're staring at a rotating box for 2.5 minutes. Now, we got to hear his performance, and he belted it out, and so you're like, thank you for delivering such an amazing vocal, but I can't see shit.
And to, close the gap, tie this all together as live audience members for the grand final, no awareness whatsoever of the technical freeze that took place in his recording or in his performance until we hear of it later and then catch wind of it that way and then watch it, the following day. Cause I did not watch it. We were at the Euro Club. So like, hello.
Yeah. You don't find out that there's this technical issue until later. And again, I will stress that the, 12,000, 13,000 people in the audience pales in comparison to the 160 million watching at home. So yes, it's not about us. I'm just saying it's fun behind the scenes knowledge to say which is the least audience friendly, and it's Czechia. That's all it is. It's not a dig against the performance. It is just logistical facts that are fun.
Speaking of facts that are fun, let's move on to some facts, and that's the fact that sometimes at the grand final, people and countries are awarded 0 points. And so wham. This category we are calling 0 points with class because it never fails that every year at least one, if not multiple countries are awarded by the public and sometimes even the jury 0 points. So Doug, who are our nominees?
Our nominees are, in no particular order, Belgium, the UK, and Germany. And before we crown ourselves a winner of who had the most class about their 0 points, I was very surprised that it was this many zeros. Because
it was a big year of zeros again. We've seen it in past years, but I wasn't expecting to see this many.
Yeah, I think it was back in 2021. There was 4 countries who got 0 public votes. So we know that the votes can be sort of stacked or compressed to the favorites. And so that's what ends up happening is that if every country has the same top 10, then yes, as they said on the broadcast, UK, Belgium, Germany got votes. They just weren't in the top 10 of a country. For all we know, Belgium was 11th for every country, and that just doesn't receive any points.
Yeah. Sorry, you don't get like the equivalent to like 3 points, you know?
Right. So it's hard. Nobody likes to see it, but I do think that all three of them took it relatively well. So, Stephen, I'm gonna turn this over to you to tell us who you thought of those three handled it with the most class and has taken it well post show.
I would say this should be no surprise because at this point it's just kind of an ongoing theme for them, and the winner is, for me, the United Kingdom. We all saw this coming, right, folks? Like, it's not a shocker. Yeah. Now they finished in 25th place with 1 point total, which was awarded to them by the jury, and then the public awarded 0 points. And his reaction was classic, like, look, mum, no computer. And he even leaned into many of the jokes that we as podcasters and content creators stated leading up to Eurovision, is that like he should be called look, mum, no points. And now if you go to his social media and his website, you too can buy a t-shirt that says look, mum, no points. And so he's leaning into it. He's taking it with grace, and he's fine. He's fine, everybody. It's okay. And the UK is doing what the UK does.
Do you think to some extent it's like a joke everybody's in on at this point? Like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like everyone knows every year UK isn't going to get any points. And so like every single country just knows not to give points to the UK.
I don't know. Again, 2022 was really the last year that the UK did such a stellar job. I mean,
depending on who you are.
Again,
and how you think about the song.
Again, coming in at second place, and then, having to take on hosting duties because of the war in between Russia and Ukraine in 2023 at the time. So from that perspective, yes, that is the last time that the United Kingdom has done exceptionally well for Eurovision.
I mean,
and
it was here, and then it went
exactly. And so you do have to ask yourselves, is the UK ever going to change it up themselves? Like, will we see a national song contest come from them, or are they going to continue to do this internal process that it's not working?
Boy George wants to write their song, so what could go wrong?
Now you have Boy George out there saying that he wants to write the song for United Kingdom, and okay.
I mean, I guess it can't get worse.
I have no comment.
Yeah, I do wonder if it's like this self-fulfilling prophecy where like everybody just collectively agrees not to give the UK any points because it would be funny.
Yeah. We'll see what they do next year, but for now, look, mum, no computer, UK, congratulations, ? You've received the 0 points with class award from us.
All right. Just based on time, I think we've got maybe one or two categories that we can run through. Best costume, best outfit for the stage. I'm going to throw my nomination to Australia. I mean, it was bedazzled to hell.
Swarovski crystals, the boots house down, mama. I have still, I've shared her performance with many of friends, many of coworkers and colleagues throughout the week since I've been back from Europe. And the first thing that everybody says is, my God, her dress is gorgeous. And I'm like,
Stunning.
Thousands upon thousands of Swarovski crystals are, on that gown. And they're like, I love it even more now. I'm like, right? Like,
I mean,
how do you
what
even
better
compare?
place to showcase Swarovski crystals than in Austria, right? Like,
exactly. The Mecca.
She knew the assignment.
She delivered. There is no other nomination here, folks. Like, I'm sure there are honorable mentions that we can have with this one, but clear winner here at the Kiki. Best costume goes to Mama Delta for this one.
Absolutely. All right. And so our last award category is going to be Best Lyrics. Now, lyrics are open for interpretation. You can decide what you want that to look like. I think some of the best lyrics for me, the nominations go to France. I just think that she had a way with those words. I think Denmark, we were all surprised that they were singing a song in Danish to begin with. And then, like, you're surprisingly able to connect with these lyrics that you don't understand and you don't know anything about. And then the same thing holds true for Finland. So really all three of our lyric nominations are songs not in English, but you're able to connect with what is happening and the story that they are telling. And so, yes. Stephen, would you like to announce our winner of the lyrics?
I would love to. And I am giving this award to Denmark for best lyrics, just because it's one of those, for such a strong finish for them in many years, and to come in having done it in Danish is amazing. And again, as two queer people ourselves, the messaging behind it is like finding yourself, the like exploration of like, I should, but I shouldn't, but I'm gonna, and maybe I shouldn't, but what we will. Like, it was really fun to see this song do so well, and I think the lyrics really hold true to a lot of people who are going through that journey even today. So that's where my win goes to.
Yeah. And as we talk about this, I'm like thinking about Denmark's song. I'm thinking about some of the other categories we did, and I'm like, could this also be a quote unquote snappable song? Does it have the ability to take off and take on a life of its own post Eurovision?
It could. I mean,
it's just Soren it is very well.
Soren had talked about whether or not they should also do an English version of this. Shortly after he won Melody Grand Prix, and I still say no.
No.
I think that this is great as is, and fuck, I don't speak Danish, but I'm here for it. Like, right. And if you are somebody who doesn't either, but still just wants to like feel a vibe, Google Translate the lyrics so that you understand what it's all about. Like, just go for it, and then I think you'll truly appreciate it. Now, we went through so many awards for our first ever Eurovision Kiki Awards episode, and so congratulations to all of our quote-unquote winners for these categories, and to other artists. And I know that there's going to be many people that are going to be like, what about Moldova? What about Romania? What about Azerbaijan? What about like all of these other countries? Trust and believe. So many great performances throughout the entire Eurovision week that blew Absolutely. Our minds. And I'm throwing Romania out there in particular because I know in like past episodes people have been like, fuck you guys for not talking about Romania enough. Like, sorry they didn't reach category in any of these, but I will highlight them as like stellar nonetheless. So just throwing that out there.
Would they have been my second place choice? Yes.
Yes.
I'm just Romania.
Thank you, Romania, for doing what you did this year.
Yes, absolutely.
With all of that being said, and going through all of the categories that we have gone through, I think Doug and I are equally curious to know if there are any standouts that maybe would have been a great placement for some of these categories, or would have been one worth noting in some of these categories, or like this would have been a good winner too. So be interested to know what you all think. So
Yes.
drop them down in the comments below, whether you're listening here on YouTube or on Spotify this week. And be sure to give us a like, or by all means, hit the subscribe button. We love getting new followers, and we love increasing the, you know, numbers and the attractions and all of those things. And while you're at it, gentle reminder, feel free to jump over to our Instagram or our TikTok at Eurovision Kiki, where you can find additional clips and content throughout the weeks. And I think that'll do it for this week's episode. Doug, any last words before we call it good?
It's time to go into our post Eurovision depression / hibernation. So
It is about that time. Let's see what Eurovision Asia has to offer, because I think we will be segueing to a little bit of that as the summertime progresses. But in the meantime, yes, I think we will be slowing down just a little bit on this side, but that doesn't mean we're going to be gone too long. So hang in there, folks. Much love to you all, and we will see you all at our next Kiki.
bye.
Bye.